you guys for joining us for another Health Truth Life video. We're glad to be back here with you. Got a very good topic for the time that we're in right now. And today we're going to be talking about attention versus... Hold on one second. I've got... Okay, sorry. Where were we?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, attention versus distraction. So yeah, we live in a very distracted time. In fact, right now, currently, a lot of people say that we're living in a period of time called the Great Distraction Crisis.
Yeah.
So it's a crisis potentially. And then also, I read this earlier, where Gen Z is known as the distracted generation. So yeah, a lot to go through there and work out, but yeah, let's get into it.
It is, for sure. And so one of the thoughts that we talked about before here was, I see attention as potentially in the next 5-10 years to be somewhat of a superpower. So one of the questions that I want to ask with this is, do you want to have a superpower amongst those who are distracted? And I think attention for these young people and for us as adults who have been so distracted by life, distracted by the news feed. Back when CNN, I guess, was the first news organization to do a 24-hour news feed, which is like, okay, now you get no break of constant information.
Wow.
And these last 3 or 4 years, the amount of information we've had, the amount of chaos that they have put on us, they being the powers that be, the media, whatever, with everything going on with COVID and all the wars, and certainly, there's real reasons for those things. But at the same time, that has led to so much information coming in up here, whether it's TV, radio, and the internet with the phone, has led to constant distraction.
Yeah, it's really hard to focus and to stay alert and attentive and awake to what's going on around you. To be present in the moment. It's so challenging. We talked about this study I'm going to talk about here in a second. It's gotten worse, we feel like, with technology, but being distracted and being able to concentrate has been a challenge for years and years and years, forever. So I do have a study here I'm going to talk about, and it says, perhaps the most well-known study on concentration is a longitudinal study conducted over 1,000 children in New Zealand by Terry Moffat and Ashwalam Kaspi, psychology and neuroscience professors at Duke University. And interestingly enough, this study was done. They tested children born in 1972 and 1973. So before all the technology we have now was out. They tested them regularly for 8 years, measuring their ability to pay attention and to ignore distractions. Then the researchers tracked those same children down at the age of 32 to see how well they fared in life. The ability to concentrate was the strongest predictor of success. So those kids that were able to concentrate and focus and get the task done they needed to get done, if it was school, jobs, relationships, they were the ones that were the most successful.
Right. So certainly speaking to the fact that having the ability to have attention and to concentrate on a task for an extended period of time lends to success. I think it also lends to, and one of the main reasons I wanted to discuss it was the fact that I think it lends to better relationships and better ability to navigate others in society for your good and for their good and for society's good. So in a way, you can think of it as maybe it's a little bit of a selfish thing, but certainly it works for you, but it works for others. And if you're attentive to other people, it's a way of living that truly blesses you, somewhat akin to, as we talked about, the law of attraction. What you put out, you oftentimes get back. And I think that's can be seen as a superpower in a sense of blessing to you and others to lift society towards, goodness.
I think just to hit on what you're saying there, being mindful of your actions and how they're affecting others. If you're sitting here with me and we're in a room together and I'm doing this and you're trying to talk to me, we're trying to have a conversation.
And I'm texting on my sacred watch.
What is this? Me being focused on this signaling to you? What's more important right now in this moment?
Right.
this. I'm telling you that this is more important than you, the person sitting right next to me. And we are joking about, the phone, the watches, the Apple Watches, and it's had so many times, I know you guys can relate to this, where you're in a conversation with someone or trying to do something and they're just like, hold on, oh, I just got a text, we get it. It's, there's a lot going on, you're trying to stay connected, but we think we're the most connected generation, connected people, but I think it's the opposite. We are truly the most disconnected.
The more digitally connected, I believe,
yes.
the more disconnected
from
we
reality
are socially.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, and there's also some evidence to show that, when you become distracted after concentrating on a task or on an interaction, and you become distracted, it takes you a number of seconds to re-engage back into what you were doing. So if you're doing something even work related and you get distracted, it takes almost twice as long to do that task because you've got to then refocus yourself back.
Where was I? That whole, where was I? What was I doing? What was I thinking about?
Right. So let me ask you, and I think action steps is what probably people want to know, is how can I be less distracted and more attentive to others for my benefit and for the benefit of others?
Yeah. Especially in relationships, it's so important, I think, with spouse, siblings, parents, whoever. Just being mindful of what you're doing and how this is affecting them, like what this looks like. If you're on this, like I said, and I'm in the room with my spouse and she's sitting right there and we could be talking and interacting and getting close, and yet I'm focused on, I don't know, fantasy football or, I'm watching a YouTube video, whatever it is. It's like, what is that?
You're watching one of our YouTube videos.
Let's go. Hell, Truth, Life.
Right.
Like and subscribe.
That's right.
But don't let it distract you from your loved ones. Okay.
Right.
But no, I really just think being mindful of that. If you would slow down and think, man, I'm choosing this device over this person I said that I love and I'm going to be there for and really grow with and connect with,
Great point. Yeah, that's definitely one action step. What are some other action steps that you take with respect to being more attentive? Because I will say, Jason has a gift of being attentive to those around him. He's very good at stopping what he's doing to be attentive.
Oh yeah, slowing down and just being aware of your circumstances, what's going on around you. If you're too busy and caught up in the moment, caught up in your job and, what's going on with your kids and just all those things that could be distractions. You're not seeing what's going on and what's going on with your neighbor. And, if you're driving and on the side of the road, just taking the time. If you see somebody that is in need, if you're not so focused and stressed on so many other distractions, you might have more time to pull over and...
So you're pointing out something that I believe is true about this, is having more margin in your life allows for you to have more chance to be attentive and see what else is going around. Would you agree with that?
Totally agree. Well, how can you help others and be attentive to other people's needs if you're just so busy and so stressed and distracted all the time? So that's a big thing.
Gotcha. Has your attention with other people been more of an evolution over time, or did you have an epiphany years ago where you're like, you know what? I need to focus more on other people?
Yeah, I think years ago, I think I told you this, it might be in another video we did, but there was a quote that I heard that said, wherever you are, be all there. And so, and two, obviously as a believer, we talked about this earlier, Jesus, I believe, was so focused and present in the moment, able to see the suffering and the hurt and what was going on around him, so he could be fully alive and present and serve those people and love them. And he saw that they were hurting and in need, so he took the time to reach out to them and encourage them and heal them. And so it's something that early on, maybe in high school, I remember reading that quote, and then as I've grown in my walk with the Lord, with Jesus, he's inspired me and showed me, life's not about being as busy as I can be and accumulating all these things and just accomplishing all these things. Slow down. Life is found in relationships,
in the moments,
and serving and helping people. And we talked about this, man. As I do that, I'm not only blessing those individuals, they're not only being blessed with healing, with life, with strength, it's affecting me. I leave those moments and I promise you, I'm so much more filled with life and encouragement than as if I just drove past them and went to the next stressful thing I have to accomplish.
And so you mentioned the Good Samaritan. We talked about that before, and I think also brings up a little bit of the golden rule, which is Jesus is asked, what is the most important commandment? And he says kind of he summarizes it that to love God with all your heart, soul, strength, and mind, and your neighbor as yourself. And upon on that, the commandments are based on those two simple truths. And so what we were talking about earlier is how loving other people the way that you would want to be loved, or the way that you love yourself, actually works for society. It works for you as an individual, or me as an individual, and for that other person. Just like what you're saying, Jason, and just like that whole concept of giving, you get more when you give than you receive, because you see that's where life is. And so I truly think that's that spiritual life of living above the flesh, that when you're serving others, you're seeing life from a whole different vantage point. And I think there's a truth with that, but it requires attention to see that other person, and not be distracted.
I used to really question that because, Jesus says it's better to give than to receive. And I'm like, it's pretty nice to receive, you know, like, you just like it. But then when you have those real moments where you give, and then all of a sudden you receive life, like fulfillment and peace and joy, you're just like, wow, like we just connected with this person, in a crazy way. So I truly believe it now. Like, it is definitely better to give than to receive,
I like it.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So, so trying to be attentive. I think some other action steps for being attentive is, of course, I think part of it for me is taking care of myself in the morning, as far as like getting my head through something inspirational or scriptural in the morning, and prayer to kind of get my mind centered on those things. Also, those things above. I think for me, also exercising helps me, because if I'm not exercising, I'm typically a little bit more amped up, and so then I'm less attentive to other people. So for me, that helps. Better sleep helps. I think lower sugar helps. I think lower alcohol helps. All these things are tools to improve your attention, I believe. And then I think, there's some brain training things. I think reading a real book helps with attention. I think crossword puzzles, things like that, there's evidence to show that those actually benefit. And then having overall less screen time on your phone can likely lend to better attention as well, and being a little bit less distracted. Any other action steps that you've got?
Just try to limit, like you're saying, limit the screen time, prioritize, like be mindful of what's important to you. Like, who do you love? What do you love? Like, a lot of these things don't matter. Like, we get so distracted. That's what we're talking about with this, and it takes us away from the people and the things that we truly do love and can impact. So be mindful of that. Think about your actions and how they're affecting those people around you, and then focus on those people and be there for them, to love and support them, and to help them through this crazy life.
I think also with kids, those parents with kids out there, kids, they catch things more than they hear things. So it's caught, not taught. And I truly believe that's the case, that, hey, your kids are going to do what you're doing. And so if you think that you're going to lie and get away with it, and that it's not going to pass down to your kids starting to lie and do things, you're wrong. And even though you tell them not to lie, they see you lying, they'll think it's permissive and okay. Same with this. I think if you're more distracted with them, they're more likely to be distracted with you and others.
So true. And
it will pass down. So I think that's where truly training is kind of in modeling, I think. So modeling for other people is very beneficial. And that comes on me. I mean, I'm looking in the mirror going, wow, how often am I distracted or doing something at work or
we're not experts
or whatever.
At this. We're guilty of it, and we're challenging ourselves to work on this as well. So
absolutely. So, well, thank you so much for listening. Again, I think in the next 5 to 10 years, attention will be more and more important, as especially for young people entering a world where there is so much distraction, and it can give you, I believe, a superpower that others won't have. So think about that. So, but as always, thank you so much, and appreciate you. We'll have another video later this week for Matrix Concept number 7. That's going to be environment. That'll come out on Thursday. Actually Friday. I apologize. So
looking forward to it.
Y'all have a great rest of the week.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.